I'm thrilled to welcome Jonathan JAFFE, the CISO of Lemonade and one of the first adapters of PRISMA Access Browser. Welcome, Jonathan.
It's great to be here.
Could you give us an introduction to you and your role, as well as an overview of your organization?
Yeah, so I'm the CISO at Lemonade, and Lemonade itself is what we call a full stack insurance company. What that means, we build everything that the customer sees, but also everything on the back end. We're a cloud native company, and we believe we're a disruptor in insurance. And I've been with Lemonade now for 4 years.
When you started with PRISMA Access Browser, what business challenges were you trying to address when you have looked at the solution?
We had 2 or 3 immediately when you and I first met many years ago. And we had an acquisition we were preparing for. So we wanted to figure out a way to onboard the employees of the acquired company in a quick, easy, and painless way. We had a lot of remote employees because this is kind of post, but kind of during the pandemic. And we had contractors. All 3 are quite challenging.
And why did you ultimately choose to go with PRISMA Access Browser versus other solutions potentially?
It was pretty obvious. It's the most feature-rich browser out there. Onboarding was very, very easy. The usability from an administrative perspective is fantastic, and it was a no-brainer because of that.
When we're thinking about the solution, how do you feel it was an enabler for the business? Are there any quantifiable metrics that you can share with us maybe?
Yeah, I can't think of any actual measurements other than our onboarding time for contractors and new employees went from quite literally a matter of days down to about 20 minutes.
Wow.
I don't know what the dollar value is for that, but it's significant. This is
dramatic.
It's dramatic.
It's dramatic.
It also just allows a business to get to business rather than worrying about onboarding. And that's not just contractors, it was employees, and we rolled it out to everybody in the company. There are security metrics that I don't have off the top of my head, but the number of block sites is massive, and each one of those using a normal browser would have been a huge risk, which is immeasurable. We can't measure how bad it would have been, but now we know that we're blocking those sites. The same with malware when people go to dangerous sites.
And what is the sentiment of the employees around the PRISMA Access Browser?
It was seamless. It was really seamless. It was a big concern because the browser is the main productivity tool in a company. And if we had gotten a product that interfered with productivity, it would have been a failure. I probably would have lost my job. The next CISO would have known never to touch an enterprise browser. But it was like that. We experimented, of course. We turned it on with test groups, and we took a fair bit of time because it was such a new technology in the market. We hadn't seen anything before enterprise browsers came on the market at that time. And in the end, the rollout was easy. It was surprisingly easy.
When we're thinking about your zero trust strategy, how does the PRISMA Access Browser plays a role in that?
It's a central part of our zero trust strategy. So it is both the entry to the outside world, but it's also the gatekeeper of anything into the company. For example, we take the PRISMA Access Browser and we pin it to both a user's identity and to a machine. And we can do that with a number of great features that make it, I think, nearly impossible to take that and take the browser and put it somewhere else with someone's identity. And so we don't trust any machine, we don't trust any user, we don't trust any browser if all 3 are not pinned together.
Oh, wow.
So it's fantastic.
So do you feel it also has a significant contribution to your identity posture management?
Very much so, very much so. In fact, I'm hoping that the PRISMA Access Browser will ultimately become our identity provider because it's so obviously tied to the identity of not just the person, but the machine.
What advice would you give other security leaders, CIOs, which are embarking on the journey of the enterprise browser?
Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't wait 2 years. It's easy. It's so much more secure. Don't wait until all of your peer companies have done it and you're the easiest target in the space.
from you to all of the CISOs in the world. How do you view the usage of the enterprise browser moving forward in Lemonade, but also in the industry as a whole?
Within 2 years, every company will use an enterprise browser. It's just a matter of which flavor a company likes. Any CISO who's not using an enterprise browser within 2 years is practicing negligence.
Were you a believer when we first met?
No, you remember that. I was so skeptical. I didn't understand the need for it. I gave you a really hard time about it. And I became, within 3 or 4 months after our first use case, I became a real believer. And then I couldn't get it deployed quickly enough.
And what have driven that change in approach from being very skeptical to becoming a believer?
Just seeing how the browser, because it is that center point of every employee's workday, being able to control that, being able to make sure that anything that comes in or goes out of that browser is secure. The simplification of rolling out new services to employees, the ease with which we deployed it, all of those things came together and made it a no-brainer.
How was the experience working with my team throughout the process, prior to deployment, post-deployment? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, some of the best people I've ever worked with. They gave and continue to give us care that I haven't seen by most companies. It's very, very rare to have that level of support, to the point where we have personal relationships with our customer success management team, sales, the account representatives, the product team. You just don't get that from most companies.
Jonathan Jaffe, CISO of Lemonade. It was an amazing journey working with you, and I really enjoyed today, as always. Thank you so much.
Likewise, thank you.